Have you ever wondered how the world as we know it was shaped by a 4,000-mile-long route? A route that changed the course of human history and laid the foundation for the globalized world we live in today. This isn't a tale of modern highways or digital networks, but a story that takes us back over 2,000 years to the dawn of the Silk Road. It was during the reign of the Han Dynasty in China, around 130 BC, when the Silk Road began to take shape. But the Silk Road was never a single linear path. It was a complex and ever-shifting network of terrestrial and maritime routes, like veins running through a body, connecting the East and the West. The name Silk Road might give the impression that it was all about silk, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. It was a conduit for all sorts of goods, spices, textiles, precious stones, metals, and many more. From the vibrant markets of China to the grand bazaars of Persia, from the bustling streets of India to the majestic cities of Rome, the Silk Road was the central artery of trade and cultural exchange. But why was it so significant? It was more than just a series of trade routes. It was a catalyst for change, a pathway for ideas, technologies, and religions. It was through the Silk Road that paper-making spread from China to the West, that Buddhism found its way to China, that the magnetic compass navigated its way from China to Europe. The Silk Road was a melting pot of cultures, a stage where East met West, and a bridge that brought distant civilizations closer together. So, the Silk Road, a simple trade network, kickstarted a global transformation. But how? Let the journey unfold. More than a trade route, the Silk Road was a highway of ideas. But what were these ideas? The Silk Road was not just a physical pathway for trade, but a conduit for the exchange of culture, religion, philosophy, and science. It was a grand highway that connected different civilizations, each with their own unique ideas and innovations. Let's first consider the spread of religion. Buddhism, for instance, originated in India, but thanks to the Silk Road, it found its way to China, where it flourished and became one of the country's major religions. Buddhist missionaries would travel along the Silk Road, carrying with them the teachings of the Buddha. They built monasteries and temples along the way, allowing the philosophy to take root in new lands. In addition to religion, the Silk Road also promoted the exchange of philosophies. The teachings of Confucius from China, the Socratic method from Greece, and the mathematical principles of India all traveled this ancient superhighway. These ideas laid the groundwork for many of the institutions and systems we have today. From our educational systems to our governmental structures, languages too were shared and spread along the Silk Road. Traders, travelers, and scholars from different regions would learn each other's languages out of necessity, leading to an organic process of linguistic exchange. This led to the development of new dialects and the spread of linguistic families across continents. And let's not forget about science. The Silk Road allowed for the sharing of technological and scientific advancements. China's innovations in papermaking, printing, and gunpowder traveled west, while the mathematical and astronomical knowledge of the Middle East journeyed east. The Silk Road then was a great melting pot where ideas were as valuable as the goods that were traded. It was a place where cultures met, mingled, and influenced each other in profound ways. The Silk Road was more than just silks and spices. It was a melting pot of ideas shaping the world as we know it. The Silk Road reached its golden age under the Tang dynasty. But what made this era so special? Let's dive into the vibrant history and unravel the golden threads of this transformative period. The Tang dynasty, ruling from the 7th to the 10th century, was a time of immense cultural, economic, and political growth in China. The empire's expansionist foreign policy and strategic alliances led to a surge in trade and diplomatic relations, effectively setting the stage for the Silk Road's golden age. This was not just a simple trade route, it was a pulsating artery of exchange, a highway of ideas, and a melting pot of cultures. It connected the East and West, fostering a vibrant exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. The Silk Road was more than just silk. It was a bustling marketplace that saw the exchange of a kaleidoscope of goods like spices, gold, ivory, and even horses. The Tang dynasty also saw the introduction of paper money, a revolutionary concept at the time. This not only facilitated trade, but also marked a significant step towards modern economic systems. Imagine the excitement of traders as they swapped hefty bags of coins for lightweight, portable paper money. But the Silk Road was not just confined to the vast, wind-swept landscapes of Central Asia. With the Tang dynasty at the helm, the route expanded to include sea routes as well. Traders began to take to the high seas, opening up new avenues of trade and exploration, connecting far-flung ports from Java to Persia. This era was not just about trade. It was about the mingling of diverse cultures, the exchange of ideas, and the forging of lasting relationships. It was about the sharing of art, religion, and science. It was about shaping the world as we know it today. The golden age of the Silk Road left an indelible mark on world history, marking the start of globalization. So, as we journey further into this captivating narrative, remember, each thread of silk tells a story, and each story is a part of our shared human history. All good things come to an end, and so did the Silk Road. But what led to its decline? Well, the downfall of the Silk Road was a result of multiple factors, each playing a significant role in closing this chapter of history. One of the main reasons was the collapse of the Mongol Empire in the 14th century. With the empire's fall, the political stability it had provided along the Silk Road vanished. This resulted in increased risks for merchants due to political instability and violence, making the trade route less attractive and safe for commerce. Another key factor in the decline of the Silk Road was the rise of the Ottoman Empire in the 15th century. The Ottomans were not as tolerant of foreign traders as the Mongols had been. They levied heavy taxes on the Silk Road's trade goods, making the route economically unfeasible for many merchants. This was a significant blow to the Silk Road's vitality, as it cut off the primary route between Europe and Asia. The advent of new sea routes also seriously diminished the Silk Road's importance. With the age of discovery in the 15th and 16th centuries, European explorers like Vasco da Gama and Christopher Columbus discovered sea routes to Asia. These sea routes were faster, safer, and cheaper, making them an attractive alternative to the Silk Road. Finally, let's not forget the devastating effects of the Black Death. This pandemic, which swept across Eurasia in the 14th century, disrupted trade and caused massive population decline. The plague's impact was so severe that it not only affected the Silk Road, but also the entire medieval world. The Silk Road may have ended, but its impact on the world was far from over. The Silk Road's decline marked the end of an era, but its legacy lived on, influencing the course of history in ways that continue to resonate today. As we'll see in the next scene, despite its decline and eventual end, the Silk Road's influence is still felt in our modern world. The Silk Road was more than a trade route. It was a catalyst for change. But what is its legacy? Let's dive in and explore. For centuries, the Silk Road served as the world's superhighway, connecting east and west. Its impact was immense, extending beyond the exchange of goods. The Silk Road facilitated the spread of ideas, religions, and even diseases, shaping the world as we know it today. The Silk Road was a conduit for the spread of goods, certainly, but not just silk. Precious metals, spices, and other commodities traveled along this route, creating a global exchange of goods that had never been seen before. This network of trade routes was the precursor to the global marketplace we're familiar with today, laying the groundwork for modern trade and economics. But it wasn't just tangible goods that made their way along the Silk Road. Ideas, too, were an important cargo. The exchange of philosophies, scientific knowledge, and religious beliefs enriched societies and spurred advancements in many fields. Concepts of mathematics, astronomy, and medicine traveled along with traders, facilitating the global spread of knowledge. In a darker twist, the Silk Road also played a role in the spread of diseases. The infamous Black Death or bubonic plague is believed to have traveled along these routes, decimating populations and changing the course of history. This was a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of our world and the potential consequences of such connections. In essence, the Silk Road was a catalyst for globalization centuries before the term itself was coined. It brought people together, fostering cultural exchange and mutual understanding. It changed the way societies developed, interacted, and understood each other. So, what is the legacy of the Silk Road? It's the world we live in today, a world that's interconnected, where ideas and goods flow freely across borders. A world where cultural exchange is a part of everyday life, and where the seeds of globalization first took root. The Silk Road may be gone, but its legacy lives on in the interconnected world we live in today. The Silk Road may be a thing of the past, but its spirit lives on. How so? Let's turn our gaze to our modern world. Yes, the Silk Road's physical trails may have faded into the dust of history, but its essence, the spirit of trade and cultural exchange, thrives in our interconnected world. Consider China's Belt and Road Initiative, a grand project that spans continents, connecting Asia, Europe, and Africa. It's a modern-day incarnation of the Silk Road, stretching across 65 countries and reaching nearly half of the world's population. But it's not just about trade routes and economic ties. It's about the transfer of ideas, just as the Silk Road was. The Belt and Road Initiative encourages cultural exchange and mutual understanding on a global scale. It's about sharing our stories, our traditions, our innovations, and learning from each other in the process. And it's not just China rekindling the spirit of the Silk Road. The concept of cultural exchange is more alive today than it has ever been. In our digital age, we can connect with people from every corner of the globe at the click of a button. We are sharing ideas, stories, and knowledge at a pace unimaginable to the traders of the Silk Road. This virtual Silk Road, powered by technology, has transformed our world into a global village. We've seen the rise of global trends, the spread of innovations, and the sharing of diverse cultures and traditions. We're witnessing the Silk Road spirit in action every day. Yet, just as the Silk Road had its challenges, so too does our modern world. Issues of sustainability, inequality, and cultural preservation are as relevant today as they were centuries ago. We must navigate these challenges with wisdom gleaned from the past and a vision for a better future. The Silk Road, a network of trade routes from centuries ago, continues to shape our world in surprising ways. It's a testament to the enduring power of cultural exchange and a reminder that we are all part of a larger, interconnected story. We've journeyed along the Silk Road, but what have we learned? Let's retrace our steps. From its humble beginnings, the Silk Road emerged as a beacon of exchange and interaction, an intricate network of trade routes. It wasn't just about the silk, as its name might suggest. It was a highway of ideas, a conduit for the exchange of goods, cultures, and philosophies, stretching across continents, from the heart of China to the Mediterranean Sea. In its golden age, the Silk Road was more than just a physical path. It was a symbol of interconnectedness, a vessel for the flow of knowledge, culture, and technology. It was the lifeblood of civilizations, fostering economic prosperity and cultural exchange. Ideas, technologies, and religions traversed these routes, paving the way for the world's first global age. But even golden ages come to an end. The decline of the Silk Road was not sudden, nor was it absolute. Instead, it was a gradual process influenced by changing political landscapes, economic dynamics, and technological advancements. The fall of empires, the rise of maritime trade, and the spread of diseases all played their parts in the winding down of this legendary route. Yet, even in its decline, the Silk Road did not fade into obscurity. The legacy of the Silk Road continues to echo throughout history. Despite the end of its physical existence, the Silk Road's spirit of exchange and interaction lives on, embedded in the fabric of our global society. The Silk Road was more than a trade route. It was a catalyst for the world's first globalization, shaping the world as we know it today. Today, the Silk Road's spirit is not just a historical concept, but a living reality. The modern Silk Road, in the form of infrastructure projects and trade agreements, is a testament to the enduring influence of the Silk Road. It's a symbol of the ongoing desire for connection, collaboration, and mutual understanding between East and West. As we reflect on the Silk Road's journey, we realize that it's not just about the past. It's a story that continues to unfold, a narrative woven into the very fabric of our global society. It's a reminder of our interconnected past, present, and future. So, what have we learned from our journey along the Silk Road? We've learned that the Silk Road was not just a trade route. It was a melting pot of cultures, a highway of ideas, a catalyst for global transformation. We've learned that the Silk Road shaped the world, fostering exchange and interaction, paving the way for the world's first global age. The Silk Road, a simple trade network, was a catalyst for global transformation, shaping the world as we know it today. Its legacy lives on, reminding us of our interconnected past, present, and future.